Hey, good evening. It's a Saturday, June 24th. And thanks so much for being here. And welcome to Everyday Talk 24/7. Echo says hi too. She's running around tonight. Hey, girl. I want to continue talking about how we can be aware of the value of the Bible, but also one element about that is when the Bible is used for false teaching. How can we protect ourselves from that? Last night, I talked about 3 things that the Bible is not. And one of those things is that the Bible is not meant to be the exclusive teaching of one person or one tight group of people. That's where the false teachers come from. Jesus gives us some really important words about false teaching and false prophets in Matthew chapter 7. Verse 15, he says this, "Watch out for false prophets. They come in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves." You might have noticed in the thumbnail tonight, the sheep there are 2 wolves in there, disguised. They're kind of hard to pick out, and that's why I chose the thumbnail, because false prophets, false teachers, are hard to pick out sometimes. By their fruit, you will recognize them. Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Likewise, every good tree bears good fruit, but every bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus, by their fruit, you will recognize them. That's the false teachers. And then Jesus goes on to say, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only those who do the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, 'Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and in your name drive out demons, and in your name perform many miracles?' Yet I will say to them plainly, 'I never knew you. Away from me, you evildoers.'" So here's some things we can draw from Jesus' teaching to make us aware of false prophets. The first thing is false teachers, false prophets are deceptive. They come in sheep's clothing, but they're wolves ready to devour you. You need information beyond just what you see on the screen or what you see in person or what you see on a conference or what you read in a book. You need some access to a person's family life. Does this person have a servant's heart? Do they have a gentle spirit? Are they genuine? Are they generous? Those are important things. If they're deceptive, you'll be able to see these things. We need better inspection than just to see somebody on a screen. You need better, that's why I try and give you as much information about me as I can. Because just what I say is not enough. You can't trust it just because I say it. What they say about themselves is not enough to trust them. They may claim great works and deeds of what Jesus is saying. They may have a big number of viewers, of subscribers, of visitors, of success in books or whatever it is. But as Jesus reminds us, many will say, "Didn't I do all these great things?" And he will say, "Depart from me, you evildoers." So we just can't take their testimony about themselves. Are they exclusive? In other words, is their teaching primarily about them and what they do? If it's a true teacher, there will be other places you can reference. You need to know who influences these people. For example, one of the reasons on my website, I've got a reference reading section there for you, and you can, purchase those things through Amazon. I actually don't profit from that. But one of the reasons it's there is because it's a way for you to verify what I'm doing, who I am. This is not just about me. This is about a line of teaching which is consistent historically over time. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have about that. Can the false teachers, can the teachers that you're listening to, can they point to other people so that you can trust and verify? In Acts 17, the Berean Christians, Jews, are commended. Look at 17:11 Acts. Now the Berean Jews were of more noble character than those in Thessalonica, for they received the message with great eagerness and examined the scriptures every day to see if what Paul said was true. It wasn't enough that Paul had this reputation or had this title. They evaluated him in light of the scriptures. False teachers will make it very difficult for you to evaluate them, except by the way that they look at it. You see, false teachers, you need to be able to evaluate, in fact, how long has their teaching been around? Their belief system, their doctrine, the practices they're teaching, how long have these things been around? If you want something solid, you need to be able to trace it back at least to the time of the Reformation. There ought to be roots going back at least 500 years. That in itself is not a guarantee, but somebody who just came up with something 100 years ago, that's inconsistent with God being faithful in building his church. And then the last thing, does it cost money to get their instruction? I'm not talking about getting an appropriate wage. I'm talking about to really find out what someone is teaching, do you have to pay money? Or do something that's kind of huge? Yes, full disclosure, I give people the opportunity to give to Everyday Talk. And I'm very thankful to do that. But it's not a requirement. It's one of the reasons why I'm not a nonprofit. Because I don't want to gauge anything and veil it over under being a nonprofit or a ministry. I want this to be something that people can look at and rely on and respond to if they want to. But it's not a requirement for me, for you to give me money, for me to do something. And that's what is important. Even the membership thing that I'm offering right now, those things, they're not requirements. I'm happy to make any of those things available to you. It's just the way to support what's going on here. That's much different than saying to really get the core of what I'm teaching, you've got to buy these books, pay this kind of money, subscribe to this and do this and all the rest of that. Those are signs of false teachers. Again, what I said at the beginning, you need to be able to evaluate a person. If they're teaching, you need something to know about their family life. Are they a true servant and not, lording it over people? Are they gentle? Are they generous? So there's many things we could say about false teaching, but just these enough to give us a balance of it. You need information about what they're teaching. Echo. She loves to play with the curtains there. Let me get back to what I was saying. Okay, these are the things you need to do. You need to know about them. You need to be more than just what they say. You need to know more than what they say, just be able to trust them. So you need outside things to verify them about. You need more than the things that they do, the actions and things that they accomplish. Are they exclusive? Or is there a range of people that they can point you to that are going to give you similar teachings? That's a point of safety. And then, how long has this belief system been around? Is it just cropped up a couple of decades ago or in the last 100 years? That's something to be aware of. And then lastly, they need your money to give you truth. Those are things that will help you identify false teachers. There's more, but that's a good place to start. I'm going to have more to say about this. I've got some things I want to point out at the beginning of next week. But thank you so much for being here tonight. I'm praying that you'll be in a place where the teaching is solid and the Word of God is held up and you're encouraged. Again, such an honor to be with you this week, and Lord willing, we'll see you Monday.
Thank you for watching.
May God richly bless you as you seek to live for His glory.